Hello, friends. Welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be designing an hourly grid weekly layout for the first week of spring, so come plan with me. And I've got numerous mild liners here ready to go, along with a Tombow brush tip marker and these Happy Planner sticker books, which I'll pull from. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and lay down some wax paper and work out this week's design. I've been somewhat hoarding these colorful floral stickers for way too long. I really loved them when they first came out and went back and got a second book. And then I hadn't touched it for, I don't know, probably at least a year now. But I thought, well, let's bring those colorful florals in for spring. It's a perfect time of year, and especially since the official first day of spring is on the 20th of this week. I am flipping through the book now, looking for what color choices I have. I did kind of do this pre-filming just to make sure I was pulling the right colors for mild liners and such, but I realized that there was only one green right about here. So we'll have to make that green go pretty far. Otherwise, I think I have enough to fill out both the top and the bottom. So let's go ahead and start laying out the colors, how I see them on the spread. Started with that green, like I said, because I will need to make that one stretch a little bit further. But otherwise, we will just build out in an almost rainbow fashion from there. I've got some odd colors that aren't quite true rainbow colors, so I am definitely winging it a little bit here with how things are going to line up. But I thought it would be best to have the darker purple set in and the lighter purple going into pink be on the edge. And then on the opposite side, there is a tone that's kind of similar to that, but a little bit more on the red side. So I'm going to use that at the start and call that pink. We'll see. It's, like I said, a little bit of a non-traditional rainbow color palette, even though the colors are still very rainbow-esque. So some of the tricky things with these stickers is that a lot of them are pre-designed for corners and edges, so I'll have to use a few of those and make it work even if they're not being used on a corner or an edge. So you'll see me kind of trim out anything that's already pre-cut on the sticker that I know will be very apparent that it's a sharp edge there, and tweaking things here and there just to make sure everything fits. I also am using both the finer detailed florals along with these kind of heavier line, larger florals. I just didn't feel like I could get away with using only one style of those, so I am going to mix and match them and hope that it all works together well. Most of the time, I actually ended up using the kind of pre-cut stickers on the top here. I have a few full-size stickers that I'll be trimming and hopefully reusing those pieces, but I was able to use a lot of the pre-cut stickers, which was nice. I also just modified that very edge to wrap around in the corner there with the lighter pink toned sticker. And now we'll use a ruler to pre-trim this green one, since it's the only one I have, and move it to the bottom so that I can start building out a bottom border as well. In my head, I was thinking that I was going to do a full, all the way around border in these rainbow colors, but I kind of tired out, to be honest, and didn't think that I had the will to make that happen, since there was a lot of precise kind of fine-tuning on these florals to make that work. especially with those harder edges like I mentioned. So I just went with a top and bottom border, but I could totally see this working as a full border all the way around as well. One good thing about not going all the way around is that these florals are very detailed. So something to keep in mind when you are designing a spread, that fine detail like this with lots of lines or lots of small elements to it instead of just big globs of color definitely are busier and make a lot of the spread feel busy, even if they're well grouped and color managed and everything like I'm doing here. So if you like a little bit of peace on your spreads, like if you like that white space idea, then be careful when you're using stickers like this with lots of fine detail in them. So not putting that full border on it, I think, will be really beneficial since I'm kind of stressed out right now. And so having a little less detail will probably do me good. Have a little more white space to rest my mind as I'm looking at this spread. I do love something pretty and colorful, so I'm not mad at this, but I will enjoy a little bit of white space as well. So you can see that I'm just basically continuing the rainbow pattern all the way along the bottom edge too, assigning each day a color, which I like to do because then it allows you to bring in other features to the spread without it being just a core, which is why I brought in those mild liners. This should allow me to color code each day in the color that matches up with the florals kind of directly above or below it. And so that way I can add more color without adding more detail to the spread. And now I'm just looking for a quote, and I thought originally I was going to use this "spring is in the air" clear quote, but I found that the colors aren't really in the right order for it to work with this spread. I do have this paper sticker here that says "Spring Break," which is actually in a rainbow colorway, which I think works a lot better with this spread, but it wasn't perfect. I didn't want to say spring break because I'm not getting a spring break this year. Any of you who follow my channel know I am in the process of moving to a new state, so it's a lot right now. Plus, I have a really heavy workload. So I figured that spring break would just not really do for this week and decided to cut off break and then combine the "is in the air" with that paper spring in the right colorway and use that. And I actually think that ends up turning out really good, even though I don't tend to like to mix sticker types. That actually worked out really well. So now I'm rolling off those florals, and I'm starting with the left top corner. I move things around a little bit just to get the best angle for rolling off so I can see the edge, since a lot of these stickers come with the edge already made, so I want to make sure it's lining up nicely with the edge of the paper. And that looks good. I've trimmed off the excess. And now I am going to go ahead and move on to the right page here at the top. Just going to move those over by hand instead of trying to roll them off. Gives me a little bit more leeway since they are touching. I can just kind of move it all on and off in one group. And that worked out really nicely. Saving any trimmings that are big enough like I normally do, and try to reuse any smaller trimmings too that I can on the spread. Okay, so we've got the top border in. Let's move on to the bottom border. And here I'm just going to move some of these over one by one or by hand. It just depends on the stickers, how easy it is to roll them off versus to hand place. These ones, like I said, are touching, so it did make it a little bit easier to grab them in groups, so that worked out nice. And then placing them by hand does give me a little bit more flexibility when I'm lining it up to the bottom of the page. When I do roll it off, it works as well, but it needs a little bit more care to make sure everything is in perfect alignment when you have these pre-cut stickers. Here you can kind of see I had a little bit of a tricky area, and I was going to try to do it by hand, but there were too many pieces of sticker that didn't quite line up. So I'll move over the first piece, which I actually relayed down on the wax paper crooked. You'll see me as I roll it off, it isn't quite lined up like I need it to be. So we'll just kind of grab that off of the wax paper on its own and then reset the other two colors. And that looks good. And then I saw a couple of little elements that needed to be trimmed. So again, you wouldn't see that hard edge on some of the stickers that were pre-cut. And we'll trim off the excess, not much here to reuse. I'm just going to use my little sticker spatula to solidify these stickers to the page. And then I'll use my precision cutter to again kind of clean up some of the little pieces that I missed originally with the edges being apparent on the sticker. I'll also clean out the holes using that same precision cutter, and I have a little Daiso cutting mat there below to make things a little easier. That is pretty much it for that. We'll go ahead and drop in the quote that I made. Just put that here in the sidebar. I'm going to overlap this quote text right on top of it, kind of camouflage some of the imperfections on that sticker. And I think that looks really good. Lastly, I'm just going to set up the colors here at the top. I've been using this for hourly scheduling, but also I have been adding my to-do lists here at the top, my task list for each day, which I really love having. And then I also have a this week area in the sidebar and a work hours chart as well that I've been doing. And those have all been really nice to have on the sheet. So since I'm color coding this, I wanted to get it all set up so I would know what color for which day I've decided on. And then I'll have those markers on hand as I go through the week and actually track what I did throughout the day. As I set up my little work hours chart, I thought it would be kind of cute to also add the days of the week in their respective colors. So that's pretty much going to do it for us, friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.